Lieutenant Rose Chen had seen her share of space debris, but nothing like this. The distress beacon had led her shuttle to an asteroid belt at the edge of regulated space, where twisted metal from a recent collision filled her view screen. Standard procedure dictated a quick scan for survivors before moving on. These regions were too dangerous for lengthy searches. But something caught her eye. Among the wreckage, a faint purple glow pulsed rhythmically. Her instruments detected no known energy signatures, yet that light seemed almost alive. Control, requesting permission to investigate anomalous reading, Rose radioed, already maneuvering closer. Negative, Lieutenant. Area is unstable. Return to base immediately. Rose's hands hovered over the controls. 10 years of perfect service record. Never questioning orders. But that light, it called to her. Control, I'm experiencing minor technical difficulties. May need a few minutes to stabilize. She switched off communications before they could respond. Using her shuttle's mechanical arm, Rose carefully pushed aside debris. The purple glow intensified. Then she saw it, a crystalline pod, barely larger than a child, with a creature curled inside. Its iridescent scales shifted colors like an aurora, while membrane-thin wings wrapped protectively around its body. But most striking were its eyes, deep violet pools that fixed on Rose with unmistakable intelligence. The creature was injured. Cracks spiderwebbed across its protective pod, and dark fluid leaked from wounds along its side. Without intervention, it would die within hours. Rose knew the protocols. Unknown alien life forms were to be reported immediately. They were to be contained, studied, and if deemed threatening, eliminated. But as she watched the creature's labored breathing, she remembered why she'd joined the Space Corps in the first place: to explore, to connect, to help. Using her suit's exterior lights to signal peaceful intent, Rose guided her shuttle closer. The creature tracked her movements but made no aggressive gestures. If anything, it seemed to relax slightly, as if recognizing her desire to help. The rescue would be tricky. Her shuttle's medical bay wasn't designed for alien physiology. The creature's pod was likely maintaining some vital function. Moving it could prove fatal. But leaving it meant certain death. Rose suited up for EVA, double-checking her tether and tools. As she opened the airlock, her training screamed at her to stop. Her career, possibly her freedom, would end if she was caught helping an unknown species. Yet she moved forward, propelling herself through space toward the wounded being. Up close, its beauty was even more apparent. Its scales resembled living opals, and patterns of bioluminescence pulsed beneath its skin. The creature's eyes followed her as she examined the pod's damage. "I'm going to help you," Rose said, knowing it couldn't understand her words but hoping it would sense her intention. "But you'll have to trust me." She began carefully cutting away the damaged sections of the pod. The creature remained still, watching. When she finally created an opening large enough, she reached in slowly. The alien skin was warm to the touch despite the space's absolute cold. It took nearly an hour to secure the creature in her shuttle's medical bay. Rose worked quickly to stabilize its condition, using her medical scanner to identify the most serious injuries. The alien remained conscious throughout, its violet eyes never leaving her face. As Rose finally sat back, exhausted but satisfied the creature would survive, she felt a gentle brush against her mind, a sensation of gratitude and trust so profound it brought tears to her eyes. A warning light flashed on her console. 3 Space Corps vessels were approaching her position. They'd grown suspicious of her prolonged silence. Rose looked at the wounded alien, then at her controls. She could surrender now, face court-martial, and watch this magnificent being become a laboratory specimen. Or she could run. The creature's wing stretched out weakly, brushing her arm. In that touch, Rose felt a connection that transcended species. She'd never felt less alone. Starting up her engines, Rose plotted a course away from regulated space. She didn't know where they'd go or how they'd survive. But as she accelerated away from her former life, she knew with absolute certainty that she'd made the right choice. The creature let out a soft trill, its colors shifting to match the stars streaming past their viewport. Together, they vanished into the unknown, leaving behind everything except what mattered most, their newfound trust in each other. The abandoned mining outpost on Titan's far side wasn't much, but it would have to do. Rose guided her shuttle into a decrepit hangar, watching ice crystals scatter from the aging dome above. The creature, she'd started calling it Nova for its star-like luminescence, had stabilized but needed proper medical attention. 6 hours of emergency treatment had revealed something extraordinary. Nova's wounds weren't just healing, they were adapting. The creature's biology seemed to learn from Rose's medical interventions, incorporating elements of human cellular structure to enhance its own recovery. Each time Rose applied a standard healing compound, Nova's tissue would briefly mimic human flesh before evolving into something stronger. "You're full of surprises," Rose murmured, checking Nova's vital signs. The readings made little sense, energy patterns she'd never seen before pulsed through its body. Nova's violet eyes tracked her movements, and Rose felt that now familiar mental touch, like fingers gently brushing her consciousness. A distant rumble made them both freeze. Rose rushed to the scanner console, her heart pounding. 3 ships had entered Titan's atmosphere. Space Corps hadn't given up the chase. "Time to move," Rose said, but as she turned toward Nova, pain shot through her head. Images flooded her mind, crystalline cities floating in gas giants, vast networks of living ships joined in neural communion, and a devastating attack that shattered it all. Nova was showing her memories. Rose gasped as the vision cleared. "Your people, they're gone." Nova's colors dimmed to deep blue. More images came, scientific outposts destroyed, survivors hunted. Not by humans, but by something else. Something that feared what Nova's species could become. The hangar doors groaned. Rose's pursuers were getting closer. She reached for Nova, intending to help it back to the shuttle, but the creature's wing wrapped around her wrist. Another vision struck, Nova's genetic structure, constantly evolving, adapting, improving. And within it, a pattern Rose recognized from her medical training. "You can heal humans," she whispered. "Your adaptive biology, it could cure diseases, extend life." Nova's importance suddenly became clear. This wasn't just about saving one alien life. This could change everything. Footsteps echoed outside. Rose acted quickly, helping Nova into a storage compartment she'd modified for concealment. The creature's trust in her never wavered, even as she sealed it inside. The hangar door burst open. Commander Reeves led the tactical team, his face grim beneath his helmet visor. "Lieutenant Chen. You've violated multiple protocols and endangered Earth security. Surrender now." Rose raised her hands slowly. "Sir, with respect, you don't understand what's happening. I understand you aided an unknown alien entity and fled questioning." Reeves signaled his team to search the shuttle. "Where is it?" "Gone," Rose said firmly. "I helped it leave. It was injured, not a threat." "That's not your call to make, Lieutenant." Reeves stepped closer. The creature exhibited signs of advanced biological manipulation. It could pose an existential risk to humanity. "Tell us where it went, and we'll consider leniency." Rose felt Nova's presence in her mind, surprisingly calm despite their situation. Through their connection, she sensed not fear, but anticipation. Nova had a plan. "Sir," one of the tactical team called out. "The shuttle's clean. No sign of the target." Reeves studied Rose's face. "We'll find it, with or without your help. For now, you're under arrest 4-." The hangar lights flickered. A soft purple glow began emanating from Rose's skin. She looked at her hands in wonder as Nova's genetic gift took hold. She felt stronger, faster, more aware of everything around her. "Lieutenant," Reeves warned, raising his weapon. "Don't move." But Rose wasn't the same person they'd been chasing. Nova had shared more than memories, it had shared evolution itself. As stun blasts filled the air, Rose moved with impossible speed, her enhanced reflexes carrying her past the tactical team. She reached the shuttle controls and slammed the emergency protocols. The hangar depressurized explosively. Rose's modified physiology protected her as she grabbed the storage compartment containing Nova. The tactical team scrambled for emergency gear, but by the time they recovered, Rose's shuttle was already breaking orbit. In the safety of space, Rose released Nova from its compartment. The creature's wings wrapped around her in an embrace as their minds merged more deeply than ever before. Together, they witnessed a possible future, humanity and Nova's kind helping each other grow, evolve, and explore the cosmos as true equals. But first, they had to survive. As police beacons lit up the space behind them, Rose plotted a course toward the outer colonies. Somewhere out there, she knew, others would understand what she and Nova could offer the universe. They just had to find them before their pursuers found them. The genetic changes accelerated as Rose and Nova raced through the Kuiper Belt. Rose's enhanced vision now perceived quantum fluctuations in spacetime, while her mind processed information at impossible speeds. Nova's presence grew stronger in her consciousness, their thoughts interweaving until she could no longer tell where her identity ended and the aliens began. They'd stopped at a remote refueling station, using credits Rose had stashed for emergencies. The station operator, a grizzled woman named Lynn, took one look at Rose's luminescent skin and Nova's crystalline form and wordlessly guided them to a hidden docking bay. "Military's offering a fortune for information about you two," Lynn said, checking their fuel cells. "They're calling it a matter of planetary security. What did you do to scare them so badly?" Rose shared a glance with Nova. "We showed them the future." Lynn snorted. "Must be one hell of a future." She paused, studying their unusual bond. "My sister runs a sanctuary on Europa. Underground colony, off the grid. If you need somewhere to dash." Alarms blared throughout the station. Rose's enhanced senses detected multiple ships dropping out of hyperspace nearby. Not just Space Corps this time, private military contractors too. "Go," Lynn urged, hitting the emergency launch sequence. "I'll buy you time." Rose wanted to protest, but Nova's urgency flooded her mind. They had to reach Europa. Something was waiting for them there, something vital to both their species' survival. Their shuttle burst from the hidden bay just as the first military vessels appeared. Rose's new abilities let her pilot with unprecedented precision, weaving through asteroid fields that would have been suicide before. Nova's crystalline structure resonated with the ship's systems, boosting their speed beyond normal parameters. But their pursuers were relentless. A corporate warship launched electromagnetic pulses, trying to disable their engines. Rose felt Nova's fear, not of capture, but of what humanity would lose if they failed. Through their mental link, Nova shared more of its species' history. They weren't just highly evolved beings, they were guardians of life itself. Their adaptive biology could save dying worlds, heal entire ecosystems. But another race, ancient, powerful, and terrified of change, had nearly wiped them out, seeing their gifts as a threat to the galaxy's natural order. Nova was the last of its kind. And now it had shared its power with Rose, creating something entirely new, a bridge between their species that could revolutionize both. A blast rocked their shuttle. Warning lights flashed as their shields failed. Rose gritted her teeth, pushing their engines past the breaking point. "We're not giving up," she promised Nova. "Not when we're so close." The alien's wing brushed her shoulder. Suddenly, Rose understood what they had to do. It was dangerous, unprecedented, but then, everything about their connection had been impossible from the start. Rose surrendered herself completely to their bond. Nova's crystalline structure began extending through the shuttle, transforming metal and circuitry into living tissue. Rose's consciousness expanded until she was one with the ship itself, every system pulsing with their combined life force. Their pursuers' sensors couldn't track what they'd become. The shuttle, now a hybrid of technology and living crystal, phased through solid matter, slipping between dimensions in ways human science couldn't comprehend. When they emerged from the quantum shift, Europa's icy surface filled their view. But they weren't alone. A massive ship waited in orbit, ancient, organic, and humming with familiar energy. Through their shared senses, Rose and Nova recognized it, a seed ship, preserving the last intact records of Nova's civilization. As they approached, Rose felt other minds reaching out, human minds, evolved like hers, joined with more of Nova's kind. They hadn't found just a sanctuary. They'd found a beginning. The seed ship's hangar opened like blooming petals. Rose and Nova guided their transformed vessel home, knowing their real journey was just starting. Behind them, the military ships emerged from hyperspace, weapons charged. But this time, Rose and Nova weren't running. This time, they would stand their ground, and show humanity a truth that would change the universe forever. The seed ship's interior defied human architecture. Crystalline corridors pulsed with bioluminescence, while gravity shifted according to thought rather than physics. Rose and Nova moved as one through this living labyrinth, their merged consciousness expanding to encompass the vessel's vast neural network. They weren't alone. 12 other human-alien pairs inhabited the ship, each bonded like Rose and Nova. Among them was Dr. Vivian Reed, formerly Earth's leading xenobiologist, now transformed by her own partnership with Nova's kind. "We call ourselves the Synthesis," Vivian explained, her skin shimmering with the same otherworldly light as Rose's. "Every pair here discovered each other by chance, or perhaps by design. The universe has a way of bringing together those who can reshape it." Through their shared vision, Rose and Nova witnessed the other pair's stories. A deep space miner who found her partner frozen in a comet. A refugee scientist who bonded with a dying crystal being in Mars's underground caves. Each union had produced unique evolutionary leaps, expanding the possibilities of both species. But time was running out. The military fleet surrounding Europa had doubled in size. Leading them was the Nemesis, humanity's most advanced warship, specifically designed to combat unknown biological threats. "They fear what they don't understand," Vivian said, watching the approaching vessels. "But we can't hide anymore. The ancient ones who destroyed Nova's people, they're coming. Humanity needs our gifts to survive what's ahead." Rose felt Nova's memories surface again, vast solar-spanning entities that saw evolution itself as an affront to their perfect, unchanging order. They'd slaughtered Nova's species for daring to help younger races grow. Now they detected the seed ship's activation, and their world-killing weapons were already entering the solar system. "How long do we have?" Rose asked. "Days, maybe hours." Vivian led them to the seed ship's core, a massive chamber where crystalline spires contained the combined knowledge of both species. "We need to show humanity the truth before it's too late." But a direct neural broadcast of this magnitude could kill us, Rose finished, sensing Nova's grim certainty. The energy required to transmit their shared memories and knowledge to every human mind in range would burn out their synapses. A sacrifice that would save two species, but end their own story forever. Nova's wing entwined with Rose's fingers. In their merged thoughts, she felt not fear but fierce love, love for her, for humanity, for all the possibilities their union represented. They would not let either of their species face extinction. Not again. The Nemesis launched its first wave of biogenic weapons, microscopic machines designed to unravel hybrid DNA. The seed ship's defenses activated, crystalline fighters emerging from organic hangars. The other synthesis pairs rushed to battle stations, their combined abilities turning the ancient vessel into a formidable warship. But Rose and Nova remained in the core, their bodies beginning to glow as they interfaced with the knowledge spires. Through their enhanced senses, they felt the Ancient Ones approaching, vast and cold and utterly without mercy. Together? Rose whispered, though they were far beyond needing words. Nova's response echoed through her soul. Together. Always. They began the transmission. Every human within 1 billion kilometers, ship crews, colonists, soldiers, suddenly received visions of 2 species worth of memories. They experienced Nova's people's millennia of peaceful evolution, their dreams of helping younger races reach the stars. They felt Rose's leap of faith in that asteroid field, choosing love over fear. Most importantly, they saw the Ancient Ones through Nova's eyes, and understood humanity's choice. They could cling to fear and isolation, or embrace change and join a grand alliance of evolving species. Rose's consciousness started to fade as the broadcast drained her life force. Nova's crystalline form cracked, its light dimming. But their shared love burned brighter than ever, illuminating a path forward for both their kinds. The Nemesis's weapons powered down. Across the fleet, crews stared in wonder at their own suddenly shimmering skin. The miracle of synthesis was spreading, not as an invasion, but as a gift freely given. A gift bought with the ultimate sacrifice. In the moment before darkness claimed them, Rose and Nova witnessed the future they'd sacrificed everything to create. The Ancient One's world-killer fleet encountered not a divided solar system, but a unified force of transformed humanity. Crystalline ships crewed by synthesized humans met the invaders with technologies that defied conventional physics. The Ancient One's perfect, unchanging order faced an enemy as adaptable as life itself. But Rose and Nova saw none of the battle. Their consciousness faded as the last of their life force poured into the broadcast. Their final thoughts were not of war or sacrifice, but of the simple joy they'd found in each other's existence. Then, impossibly, they opened their eyes. They floated in the seed ship's core, surrounded by the other synthesis pairs. Vivian stood closest, her alien partner's crystalline form resonating with healing energy. "Did you really think we'd let you die?" Vivian smiled. "You showed us all what was possible. We weren't about to lose that." The other pairs had channeled their own life force through the seed ship's network, sustaining Rose and Nova during their broadcast. Their sacrifice hadn't been death, but transformation. Rose's body now shimmered with permanent crystalline patterns, while Nova's form had gained aspects of human cellular structure. They were no longer simply bonded, they had evolved into something entirely new. Through their enhanced senses, they witnessed humanity's transformation. The broadcast had awakened dormant potential in human DNA, allowing for controlled evolution. Not everyone underwent full synthesis, but every human now carried the capacity for change, for growth beyond old limitations. The Ancient Ones retreated, their perfect order shattered by the existence of something they couldn't categorize or control. In their wake, they left a solar system forever altered. The seed ship's knowledge transformed human civilization. Cities became living things, technology merged with biology, and the barriers between species melted away. Rose and Nova spent the next decades exploring the stars, seeking other young races ready to evolve. They discovered that their story had been just one thread in a vast cosmic pattern. Throughout the galaxy, different species were finding each other, forming bonds that transcended biology. The universe itself seemed to hunger for connection, for the endless possibilities that arose when differences became strengths. They never forgot those first moments in the asteroid field, a lonely human choosing compassion over protocol, a wounded alien trusting despite past betrayals. Their love had sparked a revolution not through force or fear, but through the simple truth that evolution's greatest miracle was its ability to bring unlikely hearts together. Years later, Rose and Nova returned to that same asteroid field. The debris had been cleared away, replaced by a gleaming station where newly synthesized pairs began their journeys together. Rose's crystalline hand clasped Nova's now partially human one as they watched young partners discover their combined potential. Was it worth it? Rose asked, though their merged consciousness meant she already knew the answer. Everything we risked. Nova's response flowed through their bond, carrying all the joy and wonder of that first connection. Their love had not only saved two species, it had shown the universe that the greatest strength lay not in perfect order or endless conflict, but in the courage to reach across the void and trust another heart. Together, they watched the station's crystal spires catch the starlight, each facet reflecting a different possible future. Their story had become legend, but the truth was simpler than any legend. They had proven that love, in all its forms, was the most powerful force for evolution in the cosmos. And somewhere in the station below, another unlikely pair was making that same discovery, beginning their own journey toward a future limited only by imagination and the boundless capacity of the heart to grow.